Hey guys, so decided to vlog this week, and I've been kind of tossing around a few ideas, but I finally kind of settled on one. Basically, there are different loves for every theater kid. I love mostly mid-Broadway, but there are some classic shows that I completely adore. Same with artists. I can go from Idina Menzel to Barbra Streisand to Elaine Page and back in half a second. So that's just what I like. That's who I am as a person, and that's okay. Now, I take private voice lessons from an amazingly talented woman who has been doing opera stuff in the Kansas City area for nearly 20 years now, I think. And I highly respect her opinions, and I know that she knows what's good as well. Well, I go in and I'm doing all musical theater stuff this semester, and I want to do a combination of like the new stuff, the old stuff, and she wants me to hear me do more of the old stuff, so we're kind of meeting middle ground with like the early 2000s and that kind of stuff. So like I'm doing Wild Party, Spring Awakening, chess, like just all sorts of things, and I love it. And we got into a conversation on Wednesday as I was rehearsing Heaven Help My Heart. It was the first time I'd done the piece, like officially, and so she was like, okay, so you can either do it ballady like Idina does it, or you can do it like the musical does it. Well, I've listened to Idina sing it a million times, so that's the version I know, that's what I'm comfortable with. So it's kind of fun that I get to like hit these like pop turns, as she calls them, and it's very, you know, very like pop music, and which I love. It's great for me to expand that direction because that's the direction Broadway's going. But it led into this conversation about how my voice teacher is not a big Idina fan. Now, she knows that Idina is like everything to me, that she is the reason I'm doing what I do, and she respects that, but she also respects that she is not a fan, which I respect, because, and this is where things get so important, you guys, that just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's wrong that somebody else likes it. So she gave me reasons as to why she doesn't like Idina as an artist. You know, and she said she went to her concert here in Kansas City last August while she was on tour, and she said that in her opinion Idina was very rude, and instead of singing she fought with Periscope, and then finally asked a fan to come do it and then gave up on it, and made comments that my voice teacher took to be rude. Now, I've watched the videos of that performance and that tour stop so many times, so I've heard all of the things she was telling me, but coming from it, I didn't take them as rude whatsoever. I took them as very like, that's Idina's personality. And one of the quotes, she's like, where am I even at? Missouri, Kansas, I don't even know. Which I understand where she's coming from. It could be rude, but for me, I laugh about it. I've lived in Missouri and Kansas my entire life and still go to Starlight Theater. I'm like, I don't remember which state I'm in. I'm in one of them. I'm in Kansas City. That's all I know. So to me, that comment, like, doesn't bother me. And watching her struggle with Periscope, like, that doesn't bother me either. It's her personality, and I think it's funny, and I enjoy it. My voice teacher did not. She also says she doesn't like that Idina only belts. Usually with just an occasional like throw in of a high note here, or you know, something, which once again, that's her opinion. Elaine's been doing this just as long as Idina has, so I totally respect that, but for me, that's what I like, and she respects that I like it. And so they were just going on, and I was being kind of quiet, just I was listening to her opinion and what she had to say. And our accompanist goes, hey, she goes, you might be careful, because I know Idina's like her idol. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, she hasn't offended me. She's been very polite and respectful in what she's saying. And when you talk like that, somebody who is a fan is going to respect what you say. May not agree with you, but they're going to respect it. They're going to listen. Perfect example, last year for our fall show, we were all hanging out in the green room. I think it was a tech rehearsal. And so we were all just kind of, you know, hanging out, waiting for our turn to go on stage. And I was listening to an Idina song, had my headphones in, just to be respectful of everybody else and just trying to stay quiet. And somebody goes, hey, what are you listening to? And so I told him it was, I don't know, probably Brave, or I Stand, or I Feel Everything, something. It was Idina. And so I told them, and they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you listened to her. And I was like, I'm a fan, like, why wouldn't I listen to somebody I like? And then they started going on about how when she sings, she sounds horrible, and that every time she sings the national anthem, her tongue does this thing when she's hitting a high note, or even just a loud belted note, and it's weird and it's stupid and she shouldn't do it and she's not talented, and all of these things that were just tearing her down. And I just sat there silently, like, I was not going to speak out against this girl at the time. And I ended up having to excuse myself from the green room and going to the bathroom down the hall and crying because it upset me so badly. Like, Idina is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, and she is so talented. And more than that, she's a person. She has feelings. And so when people say stuff like that, like, that tears her down, and that's not okay. Whether or not they're actually saying it to her or they're saying it to a fan, I mean, you just don't do that. Like, common human courtesy says we don't talk about people like that. So why would you do it when they're not around? Like, I mean, really. And obviously, she's hugely talented. Elaine even said she has something with her voice that people love, and her career is huge, and that's great for her, but not for me. There you go, right there. Yes, Idina's, well, her career is taken off these last few years, and yes, it's because of Frozen, but it also is other people are going and they're listening to Rent, and they're listening to Wicked, and they're being exposed to the arts. And if you can say that you don't like her and you're respectful in that opinion, then I'm going to respect your opinion, and I'm not going to, like, be like, here, listen to this Idina song, even though I know you hate her. I'm going to stand back and, you know, I'm going to respect your opinions if you're respectful of her as a human being. Same for Hamilton. Like, Hamilton is my Jamilton. Like, I'm not even gonna kid about that. I am so excited that I have a friend now who will role play it with me and lets me pretend to be Eliza for hours on end, and she plays Alexander, and we have a son named Philip who's a teddy bear, and we love him. And last night met some new Hamilton trash, and he's our Lafayette, and we have Angelica and Peggy and Thomas Jefferson and King George III and George Washington. Like, we have all of these people who are those characters, and whether or not they play it up as much as we do, they kind of accept it that we've dubbed them each of these characters. But it's great. But if I come across somebody that's like, you know, I don't like Hamilton, then first off, I'm going to ask you why. And if it's, you have a legitimate reason not to, or even just it doesn't appeal to what I enjoy when it comes to listening to music, then fine. So be it. Like, you are you and I am I. I am me. But that's fine. You can like what you like as long as you let me like what I like, and you're not going to sit there and bash the people that have encouraged me to be myself and to chase this crazy dream. And yeah, sorry. I've been ranting for a while, but it's just something that I hear a lot of. I see a lot of negative comments online, and just, so what that you don't like them? So what that you do not appreciate the fact that this whole wall is Hamilton related? So what? It's not, you know, you don't live here, you don't have to see it every day, but it's something that makes me happy. It's something that gives me a reason to keep going. And it's one of my coping mechanisms for when things get real bad and, you know, shit hits the fan. So just respect other people's opinions either way. Just, you know, you may not like it, but it's not you. You know, I can't even think. Okay, good example. My two younger siblings love sports. They know all of the athletes and what they do. They know their stats. They know what school they went to. Like, they know those things. Well, I can turn around. I can tell you anything about Alexander Hamilton. I can tell you just about anything about Lin-Manuel Miranda or Idina Menzel. And they always give me a hard time about knowing that stuff. But then they turn around and they know everything about all these sports stars that they're also never going to meet. Which, side note, I have a chance that I could meet some of these people. Like, that's where I'm headed in my life. But the chances of them ever meeting any of these pro athletes are like 0 to none. And they still are like, no, it's stupid that you like them, that you know all these things. Why? Why does it matter? Why can't I like my stuff and you like your stuff, and I respect that? Why can't you respect what I like? Why can't you respect the fact that I know that Alexander Hamilton and Eliza had 8 kids, and then when their oldest son Philip died, Eliza was pregnant with their 8th child, and he was born 6 months later, and they named him Little Phil because that was the cultural thing to do. But you can know that, this is so going to be wrong, but like, Tim Tebow has thrown 55 touchdown passes and has ran 600 yards for touchdowns or whatever. Like, why does it matter? Or that, I don't even know. I don't know enough sports to make accurate descriptions, but like, why is it cool that you know those stats, but it's not cool that I know that Hamilton has already run almost 500 performances and that it's sold out until like 2018 and that I'm dying to go to Chicago and see it and I'm tracking ticket prices? Like, what's the difference? I mean, I get it, you're not into it. I'm not making you be into it. I'm just saying this is what I like. This is what makes me happy and what gives me joy in my life. So why can't I have that, but you can have yours? I'm now releasing this video. It's like almost 12 minutes long, so I'm just gonna wrap it up with this. Everybody's heart is different. Everybody's into different things. Find a few people who are into the same things you are and be happy. And if somebody comes along and you're jamming out to, you know, Rants OBC because you prefer the OBC over the movie soundtrack, and then they start arguing the movie soundtrack's better, just say that's your opinion and it's valid, but this is what I like and this is what I'm going to listen to. Now, if you are that person who's arguing with them, accept their answer, say that their choices are valid, and don't argue with them. Just move on with your life. Put your headphones in and listen to the soundtrack. Like, come on now. Also, can we just agree that there are only 2 people that are in the soundtrack, the movie soundtrack, that aren't in the OBC cast recording? So what's the big deal? Like, come on. It's all the same people. It's all the same songs. It's the, you know, the show we all know and love. So why can't they enjoy one and you enjoy the other? Same goes for theater and non-theater. Like, I enjoy it, you enjoy it. It doesn't matter if we don't enjoy the opposite. So why do we have to fight about these things? Why can't there be peace and love and just, you know? And yes, I'm taking the opportunity. I'm going to quote some Lynn. Love is love is love is love is love. Can't be killed or swept aside. Like, you can apply this. I'm talking about hobbies, but you can apply it to anything. Why can't we all love one another and love what we love? Just some things to think about this week. And I'm sorry I rambled forever, but this was definitely what was on my heart, and I just needed to share it with you all. So.